Hi and welcome to Raven and Rose. This is my Gothic rose look that I created, and if you would like to see how I created it, then please carry on watching. So I'm starting off with lovely fresh skin, and I'm adding on some primer just to try and fill in those pesky pores that just keep playing with me. And then I'm moving on to my foundation once that primer has settled into my skin. I love this stick foundation from Tarte, the clay stick foundation. It is so nice, and with the brush that comes, you have to buy it extra unfortunately, but with the brush that they recommend with it, it blends in like butter. It's absolutely gorgeous. I do need a little bit of extra on my cheeks where I've caught the sun, and I'm not going to say they're age spots because I'm just not willing to admit it yet. Not yet. I then go in with my Tarte concealer in Fair, and I added that with my little beauty blender sponge. I forgot to record it, so I had to just pretend to dab it on there. And then I'm going in with this darker colour from e.l.f. It's a serum, so it's not like a full coverage foundation, and I use it just to start my contouring. I'm then going in with a banana setting powder that I received in one of my little makeup boxes that I have every month, and also with the brush that I got with it, which I love. I'm a sucker for pretty colours. So just applying that to the areas where I've applied my concealer, and then I'm going in with the Kat Von D Lock It foundation powder to just lock in all of the other foundation that I have applied. Again, using that same brush just to whisk it off nice and lightly, trying to use the wig to do the same thing too, and then going in with my Urban Decay primer potion on my eyes so that I've got a nice solid base for all of the layers of colours that I will be putting on to create the finished look. So first of all, I'm starting out with a very pale powder just to set that eye primer in place, and that will help with all of the blending that I have to do. So I've got a black pencil here, and obviously to do your eyebrows you need it super sharp, and because I'm going for a Gothic look, using black on the eyebrow is a bit more tricky, for me anyway, because it shows up every single mistake, and usually with lighter colours I can just use the spoolie to kind of disappear them from my skin, but it doesn't work with black. So I'm setting those with the black powder from the Naked 2 palette, and I'm just trying to sharpen up the edges as well as I go. And then I'm using that same foundation, concealer, just to tidy up on the bottoms and the top, just to make it a little more crisp. I wouldn't usually go in and do this much work on my eyebrows, I have to admit. So I've set that with my Kat Von D setting powder, and the wig is fighting with me again. And this is my little NYX palette that I've put together myself, and I'm starting with a white on the inner corner of my eye and under my brow bone, and again that helps define that brow area. So I'm going in with a very light pink, and I'm just starting to shade out where I want my colours to be. I am going for a cut crease. I'm aiming for a cut crease, who knows what will come out. And I'm just layering up the colour a tiny bit at a time. I take just one dab out of the colour and then just blend it in, and it builds up nicely. So I've jumped over to black to just draw out where I want my new socket to be, where the cut crease is going to live, and I'm blending that in, and then going in and blending in that same pink over the line. I will reapply the black a couple of times just to keep that depth of colour that I'm looking for. So I'm going in now with a purpley pink colour, and I'm shading it over the line and just above, so that I'm blending it in with that lovely pink on top as well. So here I go, adding a little bit more of that blacky blue colour. And yes, it's a mess now, but don't worry about that if you're doing a cut crease. You can clean it all up, that's the point. You cut it and you clean it all up. So I keep blending, 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 or as I usually say, blend, 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 and then just layering up the colour and the strength of that colour until you get the desired effect. It's going to be different for you than it is for me. I am going for a particular look, but that doesn't mean you have to go that dark or that strong. So I'm going in with like a reddy brown colour to add to that purplish line, and then the cut. I'm using that same Tarte concealer and a rounded brush. I didn't even show what rounded brush that was. Let's see. It's Benefit Shadow Liner. There we go. And I am not so tidy at doing the cutting out either, but that's okay because you can go in with another colour and tidy it up. So first of all, I'm setting that concealer, I will never remember, with that same white powder that I used from the natural coloured powder that I used from the Urban Decay palette. And then I'm going in again and just deepening that colour up again, and I will mess the cut crease bit up again, but don't worry, I've showed you that because nothing's ever perfect. It's just play, have fun, figure out what you can do. So it's just a case of layering up each colour. There we go, in screen. I've tried my best to keep my eye, or whatever bit I'm working on, completely in screen. Now I really didn't like what I did with the lid. I wanted a gradient of colours and it didn't work, so I decided to go with a bit of shimmer. So I applied the Duo Lash Glue and then just tapped on my lovely Cosmic glitter. Now this isn't necessarily a cosmetic glitter, so you have to be super careful while you're using it, make sure it doesn't get into your eyes. And then once that's on, I had to go in and reaffirm that line again because I wanted it to look nice and tidy around the edge of the glitter. As you can see, very slow movements, just slowly building that colour up, bringing it below my eye. And trying to blend it in as much as possible. And then I've got a little black underneath my eye that you didn't see because that was part of putting on the eyeshadow that I didn't like. So I did line my eye and go in with a little black really close to my lash line, lower lash line. So again, blending in, but making sure not to overblend this time because I really wanted this line to stand out, which is why I've gone for the Cherry Cordial look from the Chocolate Bar palette, and I'm just building that up to really, really define that line. I don't mind that it's not blended in. So it is notoriously difficult to apply eyeliner over glitter, particularly chunky glitter. And whenever I see videos they say, look, this is really difficult, so I did it off camera. So I thought I'd show you how difficult it is, because it's no point me saying what it's like if I'm not showing you. So there we go. I am now going to tidy up that line with my matte concealer. Always, always curl your lashes. And then I'm bringing a bit of that purple down just to blend in from the line I've given myself and the lower lash. Better Than Sex mascara first because I love it, but it's drying out. But I love how it works on the roots of my lashes. You can see I apply it to the top and bottom of my lash. and then I've gone in with Lights Cameras Lashes from Tarte, and that really makes them stand up to attention and say hello. So I found these wonderful lashes while I was walking around Whitby. There's a fabulous little shop there that has an amazing collection of just strange makeup, neon makeups, different kinds of lashes. Unfortunately, it looks like they're reducing their stock, which is a bit disappointing, but this was on sale for £2.99, so I was like, I'll have 5. So now I'm going in with my e.l.f. highlight and shade palette, and I'm going over the areas that I've already started to contour underneath the powder, and I'm just sharpening that up because this is a more gothic look. And I'm definitely going under my chin like I did with the serum, because I don't want my 2 chins showing. I've gone with a nice vibrant red plum velvet blusher, and it blends in beautifully. Now, as you can see, I've not overly blended that contour line or the blusher or the highlighter for that shade, and that's because I like to apply a little bit of powder on top of all of those and blend them together, if that makes sense. I'm showing you now anyway, so just a tiny bit of powder, and then just using a lovely fluffy brush as like a stippled fluffy brush, and it blends it together so beautifully. So I just picked up this beautiful berry colour. I think it's a Rimmel, but it's gorgeous. And there we go. I decided it needed a little bit extra, so I went into my Urban Decay Moondust palette. And here's a couple of things not to do. When you're using the fan to cool you down, don't put it so close to your face you're shaving. And this was the worst of all. Do not squeeze out from the tube on your eye. I very nearly got my eyes glued together, and it was just the most stupid thing I've ever done. So please don't do it. So here's the finished look. My camera has a soft skin option, so it has softened my skin, but there's no other editing that's gone into these pictures. And I think they're beautiful. I really love the rose headpiece I made. So I hope you like it too. And if you do, give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. A subscribe would be awesome. Now you take care of yourself, and I will see you again real soon.